Hey guys, I wanted to talk today about something that's getting a lot of attention in the scientific community, especially when it comes to neuroscience, and it's called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, also known as BDNF. So I've been talking to a lot of my athletes and runners. I work with a run community here in town, and I've been given a lot of information about the health benefits, and so I'd like you guys to know about brain-derived neurotrophic factor and why exercise is important. So if we look at the brain, actually if I step back, some of the statistics that are out there right now that are a little bit scary or disturbing is the fact that one of the big ones I talk about in some of the talks I do here in town is that dementia, Alzheimer's, these conditions, neurodegeneration of the brain, they're expected to triple. So it's about cases right now, it's about 6 million people in America are affected with Alzheimer's slash dementia and different forms of dementia. And by the year 2050, that number is supposed to triple. So that's a very scary fact. And what that basically means is that there is really not a solution. And right now, our healthcare world is trying to basically pair one drug or treatment with something that they notice in the immune system or in the nervous system, like tau proteins or amyloids, or there's something called alpha-synuclein. We don't have to go down too much of a rabbit trail there, but basically what happens is the neurons in the brain all have to communicate with each other, the different areas of the brain. And so this is a quick drawing of the side view of the brain. We have the frontal cortex, temporal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital lobe. They have different functions that are required. And so basically, if you look at Alzheimer's, and there's a whole lot of different types of dementia, Alzheimer's is actually the most common or takes up the biggest role in that dementia description, but it affects the temporal lobe of the brain. And so this is where memory is stored. That's why some of these people start having a hard time remembering things. Some of the early symptoms are going to be focus, attention, concentration issues, endurance issues. You pick up a book, you used to be able to read the whole thing. Now you can't make it through the first page or even remember what you're reading. These are early signs of fatigue and lag in some of these lobes of the brain. And so really looking at where does BDNF or brain-derived neurotrophic factor come in is what this is. It is a signaling protein in the nervous system. And so what it does is it helps stimulate the growth of new neurons. And the whole thing that I said a moment ago is it's the connectivity of these neurons that allows your brain to function properly. Different things, primarily inflammation, neuroinflammation, autoimmunity. These are some of the different things that start to attack the system. Blood sugar dysregulation is another big one because your blood vessels and your neurons can be affected by that. Anemia. Some of these are just examples of why the neurons in your brain will start to wear away or waste away. And so when we look at brain-derived neurotrophic factor, this is one of the most impactful proteins, really, or signaling molecules that you can stimulate in the body. If you remember from the beginning of the talk right now, I talked about how exercise impacts this. And so that is actually one of the most significant ways or effective ways to increase BDNF is exercise. And so we look at HIIT training, high intensity interval training, really as the most effective way. So that's why I like to tell people there's, if you go to YouTube, there's 7-minute workout. You can search for that. And making sure you get in little burst types of training is a really, really effective way to stimulate this. I could go off for an hour right now, but I'm trying to keep it simple. I always look at stimulation in the absence of, let's say, irritation. So things in your diet that are inflammatory, that's not going to be a good thing. If you have intestinal permeability or leaky gut, where you have some forms of autoimmunity going on, once again, you are affecting your nervous system in a negative way there. So kind of the description I give is if you have a house and you're trying to rebuild, that's your body, and you're trying to slap up new sheetrock, that would be stimulating and producing more BDNF through exercise and nutrition that doesn't really attack your body. You have to make sure that your body doesn't have some of these underlying things, blood sugar dysregulation, anemia, autoimmunity, because that's like trying to put up new sheetrock in a house that the walls still have burning embers inside of them. So you have to put the fire out, and then ultimately you have to do some of the things to help rebuild. So I always encourage, have a good exercise routine. Getting out, walking, running is great. Mixing in a little bit of HIIT training is also going to go a long way, because that is the biggest stimulator. But I really wanted to at least bring awareness to this, give you guys a little something to search, ask questions. I'm absolutely happy to answer those, but be aware of BDNF. There is a overlap with a lot of the other stuff I talk about, and hopefully this helps to empower. All the noises in the background, I apologize. My dog loves to snore and chew his bone and make every noise imaginable, so I can just imagine what this sounds like, but that is an explanation of what you might have heard right there. Alrighty, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon.